The beauty of Washington isn't limited to its lush forests and towering mountains. There are places that hide deep, unsettling secrets. These are the mysterious locations where it's not just the wind that whispers, but shadows too. Did you know that in the underground tunnels of Seattle, you can still hear the footsteps of workers who were once buried alive beneath the city? Or about the hospital in Port Townsend, where disembodied screams echo through the halls at night? Today, we're taking you on a journey through Washington's haunted and mysterious sites, where history and horror walk hand in hand. So brace yourself, because this won't be an ordinary trip. If you enjoy stories like these, make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like the video as well. The Oxford Saloon in Snohomish, Washington is one of the most haunted bars in America, and after my experience there, I believe it. I'd heard the stories: a murdered prostitute in a blue dress, phantom footsteps, glasses flying off shelves, but I was a skeptic. So one rainy October night, I decided to visit. The moment I stepped inside, the air felt heavy. The saloon was cozy wooden floors, vintage decor, the hum of conversation. But something felt off. I ordered a whiskey and struck up a conversation with the bartender, who smirked when I asked about the hauntings. As the night wore on, I noticed strange things. A shadow moved in the mirror behind the bar when no one was there. A sudden cold draft swept past, though the doors were closed. Then, near midnight, I saw her, a woman in a faded blue dress, standing at the top of the stairs. She wasn't solid, more like a misty silhouette, but her gaze was piercing, full of sorrow and anger. Then, in a blink, she was gone. The bartender saw my face and nodded. "Told ya?" I left without finishing my drink. Some say the Oxford Saloon's ghost is a woman named Elizabeth, killed by a jealous lover in the early 1900s. Others claim she was a working girl who met a violent end upstairs. Whatever the truth, one thing's certain: she's still there. I couldn't shake what I saw at the Oxford Saloon. That woman in blue, Elizabeth, the bartender called her, haunted my thoughts. A week later, I went back. This time, I wasn't just there for a drink. I wanted answers. The bartender recognized me immediately. "Back for another scare?" he asked, wiping down the counter with a smirk. "I need to know more about her," I said. "About Elizabeth?" He leaned in, his voice dropping low. "Most folks only see her on the stairs, but if you really want to meet her, you gotta go upstairs." My stomach twisted. The second floor of the Oxford had been closed off for years, rumored to be the old brothel where Elizabeth died. Some say she was strangled by a wealthy client. Others whisper she threw herself from the window after her lover betrayed her. Either way, her spirit never left. "You're not allowed up there," the bartender warned. "But if you happen to sneak up when no one's looking," he shrugged, leaving the rest unsaid. I waited until the bar was distracted, a group of rowdy locals laughing over a pool game, then slipped behind the staff-only door. The stairs creaked under my weight, the air growing colder with each step. The upstairs hallway was dark, the floorboards warped with age. Doors lined the corridor, some half open, revealing empty rooms thick with dust. Then a whisper, not a word, just a breath against my ear. I spun around, nothing. Heart pounding, I stepped toward the last room at the end of the hall. The door was slightly ajar. Inside, an old vanity mirror stood cracked and foggy, and in its reflection she was there. Closer now, her blue dress tattered, her hollow eyes locked onto mine. The mirror fogged as if she were breathing on it. Then a single word appeared, scrawled like a finger tracing through frost. I bolted down the stairs, past the bartender's knowing grin, out into the cold night. I never went back, but sometimes when I drive through Snohomish after dark, I swear I see a flicker of blue in the Oxford's upstairs window. Months passed after my encounter upstairs. but I couldn't escape the feeling that Elizabeth hadn't just warned me, she had marked me. It started with dreams. Every night, the same vision standing in that upstairs room, staring into the cracked vanity mirror as Elizabeth's skeletal fingers reached out from the glass. Then last Tuesday, I woke up to find 3 long, shallow scratches down my arm. I needed proof. I needed to go back one last time. This time, I came prepared. A digital recorder in my pocket, a camera around my neck, and a raw, gnawing fear in my gut. The bartender's eyes widened when I walked in. "You," he set down his glass. "After what happened, I figured you'd—" "I need to see that mirror again," I interrupted. He exhaled sharply. "That thing's bad news. Even the paranormal investigators won't touch it." Last guy who tried. His footage caught a face in the glass, but it wasn't his reflection. Upstairs, the hallway felt worse thick with the scent of old perfume and something metallic like blood. The door to Elizabeth's room was closed now, locked. It sat outside the room, leaning against the wall like someone had dragged it there. The glass was shattered in a spiderweb of cracks, but I could still see my reflection, pale, sweating. Then the cracks moved. They rearranged themselves like liquid, forming words. The recorder in my pocket screeched with static. My camera's flash went off by itself, and in the blinding light, I saw her hands erupt from the mirror, fingers curling like claws. I didn't stop until I was 3 blocks away. When I checked the camera later, the photo was black, except for 2 faint, glowing eyes in the darkness. The scratches on my arm haven't healed, and last night, my own bathroom mirror fogged up on its own. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her Elizabeth's hollow gaze, her blue dress frayed at the edges like smoke. The scratches on my arm festered no matter how much antiseptic I used. Doctors called it dermatitis, but I knew the truth. Last night I woke to the sound of shattering glass. My bedroom mirror had exploded, shards embedded in the opposite wall like they'd been thrown from inside. And on my phone, a voicemail time-stamped 3:07 a.m. "You looked. Now I see you too." I drove back to Snohomish at dawn. The Oxford Saloon was closed, but the back door was unlocked, swung inward as if waiting. Inside, the air smelled of wet ash and copper. The stairs to the second floor groaned louder than before, each step sagging like something heavy had recently passed through. The mirror was gone from the hallway, but Elizabeth's door, the one that had been locked, stood wide open. Inside, the vanity mirror sat perfectly intact, its surface black as a moonless night. My breath came in ragged gasps as I approached, the floorboards squealing underfoot. Then a face surged from "but wrong" rotting. My reflection's lips split into a grin, its eyes weeping black fluid as it raised a hand and pressed against the glass. The surface rippled like water. I stumbled back as my own corpse began crawling out of the mirror, its jaw unhinging to speak with Elizabeth's voice. "You should have left when you had the chance." The last thing I remember is falling through the mirror into freezing darkness. They found my phone on the saloon's second floor. Recording the footage shows me standing there for hours, staring into empty space until something off camera whispers, "Now you'll stay," like I do. The screen cuts to black. I'm still here, trapped behind the glass. And when you look into a mirror tonight, pay close attention. Does your reflection blink just a second after you do? Trapped behind the glass. I've learned the truth about Elizabeth. She wasn't just murdered, she was sacrificed, her soul bound to the mirror in 1903 by a madam who practiced the dark arts. Every decade, the mirror demands a new soul to sustain its power, and I'm its newest prisoner. From my fractured world, I watch through every reflective surface connected to that cursed vanity mirror. Bathroom mirrors, car windows, even puddles after rain if you've walked past one and felt an unnatural chill. That was me, trying to scream through the veil. bartender knew. That's why he goaded me upstairs. He's been the mirror's caretaker for 20 years, luring skeptics to their doom. Last night, I watched through a diner's coffee machine as he slid a newspaper across to a fresh victim, a college girl asking about local ghost stories. The headline: missing journalist's body found in Snohomish River. My bloated corpse surfaced yesterday. The police called it suicide. But the truth is, in the autopsy photos, if you zoom in on my dead eyes, you'll see the reflection of a blue dress in the coroner's light. Elizabeth walks free now, and she's wearing my face. I'm writing this in fractured glimpses when a motel guest ignores their flickering TV static. When a janitor mops over my words appearing in the floor wax, the mirror's hold weakens when new prey enters the saloon. If you feel something watching you from a dark window tonight, say these words. Exactly, Elizabeth Murray. I see you in the glass. It will buy you 3 days. Use them to smash every mirror in your home. Because the Oxford Saloon's curse isn't contained anymore, it's spreading. And the next reflection that doesn't match the bartender's ledger, was hidden beneath floorboards behind the bar, its pages stained with whiskey and what I now know was blood. I found it when the new owner renovated last month, some poor fool who bought the place after the suicide headlines faded. The entries span 120 years. July 12th, 1903, bound tonight. The ritual holds. October 31st, 1929, fed it the drunkard. Mirror quiet for now. My turn comes tomorrow, God forgive me. I'm not the journalist who disappeared. I'm the college girl from the diner. The mirror showed me things: Elizabeth's noose, the madam's bones buried beneath the saloon's foundation, 7 generations of caretakers trapped in an endless cycle. The previous bartender didn't lure me. I freed him. Now I tend the bar most nights, mixing drinks with hands that sometimes aren't mine. The regulars pretend not to notice when the jukebox plays 1900s ragtime by itself. Tourists still dare each other to go upstairs, though we keep the door chained. But here's the truth. No ghost hunter will ever uncover. The mirror isn't the prison. The saloon is. Every patron who's ever felt a chill, seen a shadow, heard a whisper, they're not witnessing a haunting. They're feeding it. Fear oils the gears of this terrible machine. That's why I slip extra whiskey into nervous customers' drinks. Liquid courage makes them stay longer, breathe deeper, bleed more terror into the walls. Tomorrow night, when the drunkest skeptic stumbles upstairs to prove his bravery, I won't stop him. The mirror's hunger is my hunger now. His face will join the others in the glass. And when you read this, because you will, somehow, maybe in a newspaper left on a bus seat, or as text that appears when your phone dies, know this. The only way to break the curse is to burn the saloon to the ground, with the caretaker inside. They came for me at midnight, not the ghost hunters, not the police. All the faces from the mirror, Elizabeth in her blue dress, the journalist with his hollow eyes, the drunks and fools and curious souls who'd wandered upstairs over the decades. They stepped out of every reflective surface in the saloon, the polished mahogany bar, the antique beer taps, even the blade of the ceiling fan spinning lazily. I didn't scream when they took me. I laughed because the secret wasn't in the mirror or the rituals or the sacrifices. The secret was in the thirst, the desperate human need to know, to push past warnings, to stare into the dark and whisper, "Show me." The saloon burned at 3:03 a.m. Firefighters said the flames were blue. They found the ledger open to a fresh entry, written in 7 different hands. The curse was never the house, the mirror, or the dead. It was the living who kept coming back. Now we rest, stay out. This morning the lot sits empty. No foundation, no debris, just damp earth and the faint scent of whiskey. The townsfolk claim they'll build a park here, but if you visit at closing time, when the streetlights flicker, you might see one last intact mirror leaning against a tree, your choice whether to look. If you found the stories of Washington's mysterious and haunted locations intriguing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, make sure to like this video and tell us in the comments, which place did you find the most terrifying? Would you dare to spend a night there? We'll be waiting to read your answers. And if you enjoy stories about haunted, mysterious, and historic places, stay with us because in our next video, we're taking you to the forgotten American town where the ticking of clocks can still be heard.